Hi everybody, Chris from BattleGoat Studios.
And George from BattleGoat.
We're continuing our series of videos to explain to you guys some of what you can expect from Supreme Ruler 2030. And today we want to do a quick review on the resources and tell you some of the new features that you've got to go with that. So for anyone who hasn't played something in the Supreme Ruler series, the economy system that we have as far as commodities presents the player with 11 different types of resources. You end up with 3 finished resources of consumer, industrial, and military goods. And these all get produced out of raw materials, which include things like petroleum and rubber and coal, ore, and even electricity is sort of an intermediary. So you've got these 11 commodities that you can control based on the resources you have, how much you're producing. And often players are considering, do I produce more than I demand, less than I demand? How do I increase my production? Or how do I trade for what I need? And it's some of that balancing game that players play with to keep their countries running.
One of the things we've always had in the Supreme Ruler games is the minister priorities. So you can set certain things like stockpile military resources or consumer resources, sell my goods, things like that. We still have a lot of the ability to use the ministers and also to take over and lock your resources. And we've also added additional controls that give your ministers additional information on what you're looking for. Our new trade slider that we're adding to the game comes from Galactic Ruler work, but it also gives you the ability to specify that, for an example, you want a 100-day stockpile of ore, or you want ore as one of your primary export targets. So instead of setting specific numbers, it gives you a very fine-grained way of indicating to your minister, to stockpile this resource to a certain level, or to use it as something to generate trade and revenue from your commodities.
And as you're buying and selling all those goods, this obviously creates some complex relationships. Another thing that Supreme Ruler 2030 inherits from work on Galactic Ruler is the screen layout controls, the majority of them are on the lower left to control your departments. Lower right, where the mini-map is, you have a number of report screens. One of them is referred to as the supply chain. This lets you select a specific commodity and see where does it come in, where does it go out, what is the flow, including the relationships to the other commodities. You can view it for individual commodities specifically. You can also see, show me just resources used by military, just resources used by civilian. And this supply chain screen, this report, has proved to be quite useful as we're playtesting through some of this. It's a lot easier to analyze when you have a problem in a certain commodity to see, well, what's the flow? What's demanding so much of this? And how can I deal with some of that stuff?
And one other thing that people should understand is a big content difference in Supreme Ruler 2030 is, of course, we are rebalancing the world for the modern day. A lot of the game design and the balance that we created for Ultimate came from 2020, which was based on our data that we had available in 2008. Since then, for example, the U.S. has discovered that they can frack oil and come up with production of oil that we didn't anticipate was going to be there, and whereas other regions have found that their supplies and so on are being turned off because they're moving away from carbon-based resources. So that balance is also coming into our game in the content.
So we hope you've enjoyed hearing a few more of the features, and perhaps as you hear us talk about resources, you've got some thoughts of your own. Feel free to leave comments below this video or hop onto our Discord channel or one of our forums and let us know what you think of the resources we've got and what sort of things you'd like to see managed. And even if you know specific resources in specific parts of the world that you want to make sure we don't forget about them, it's always a good thing to let us know about. We always try and get as much content as we can, as realistic as possible. So yeah, hope you enjoy the videos and we'll keep bringing them to you. Bye.